give the floor to a representative of Israel.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to also add that the presence of the Deputy Secretary General Eliasson brings additional awareness and attention to this important subject. In December 2010, a Tunisian police officer confiscated the cart of a young street vendor. The same young man had been harassed by local officials for years. Instead of upholding the law, the police demanded a bribe to return the cart. Humiliated, distraught, and denied legal recourse, the young man went to the headquarters of the provincial government and lit himself on fire. This young Tunisian became a symbol for men and women in the Arab world who longed for freedom. Tens of millions of people understood the desperation felt by that young vendor because they too live in a society without an honest judiciary, an independent media, and free elections. Across the Middle East and North Africa, nations are sinking under the crippling weight of corruption, tyranny, and inequality. Mahatma Gandhi famously said, and I quote, "A nation's greatness is measured by how it treats its weakest members." Madam President, in too many parts of the Middle East, the rule of law is not used to protect and defend citizens, but rather to discriminate against them. Women are denied the opportunity to make decisions about their future, such as getting an education, pursuing a profession, and earning money and choosing how to spend it. In Saudi Arabia, women need a guardian permission to marry, take classes, and travel. It is also the only country in the world that bans women for driving a car. Not long ago, a few brave women defied the ban and were detained by police and fined for the so-called crime of tarnishing the kingdom's reputation. Tarnishing the kingdom's reputation? The real stain on the kingdom is its failure to recognize that by relegating half of its population to the back seat, Saudi Arabia is being steered off course. In addition to upholding draconian laws that marginalize their civilians, the judiciary systems in many Arab nations subject women to unspeakable injustice and violence. Syria and Iraq's legal system allow rapists to avoid punishment by burying their victims, while Iranian women are arrested, beaten, and even mutilated with acid for not conforming to the regime's so-called moral code. This past summer, 3 Iranian Christians were found guilty of crimes against the state security and sentenced to 10 years in prison. And what was the terrible crime that threatened Iran's security? The 3 Christians were selling Bibles. Iran abuses its judicial system to deny its citizens due process and subject prisoners to inhumane and degrading punishments such as lashings and executions. In 2013, 624 people were executed in Iran, many in secret. Just a few weeks ago, the regime hanged a poet for criticizing the regime's treatment of minorities. Nation after nation in the Middle East mercilessly persecutes its citizens and seeks to mandate what they should believe, how they should act, and who they can love. In Lebanon, in Egypt, and in Syria, the penalty for being gay is imprisonment, while in Yemen and Iran, the penalty is death. Madam President, in a region known for intolerance and repression, Israel stands out for its commitment to the rule of law. Our Declaration of Independence ensures that the majority governs while minorities enjoy equal rights. In fact, our Arab citizens in Israel have more rights than Arabs anywhere else in the Middle East. While most nations in the region relegate women to the margins of society, Israeli women are leaders in every field and discipline, from courtrooms to classrooms, from operating rooms to boardrooms. More than 40 years ago, Golda Meir became Israel's first prime minister, making my country then just the 3rd in the world to elect a woman to its highest office. Israel's commitment to the free exchange of ideas has made it a destination of choice for reporters, academics, and human rights activists. They know that they can speak freely without fear of arbitrary arrest, imprisonment, or execution. If one of you were put on trial and had to pick which legal system in the Middle East would hear your case, which nation would you choose? I suspect you would select Israel, where you are guaranteed your day in court, as opposed to our neighbors, where the judicial system is nothing short of a nightmare. Israel's commitment to freedom means that the burden of condemnation falls disproportionately on Israel. It also means that our struggle to combat terrorism is made more difficult because of our determination to respect the rule of law. As former Israeli Chief Justice Aaron Barak said, and I quote, "A democracy must sometimes fight with one hand tied behind its back. Even so, the democracy has the upper hand." Madam President, the character of a society can be assessed by its commitment to a system of laws that both protect and liberate its citizens. Insecure tyrannies deny their citizens the security of an impartial judiciary. Israel, on the other hand, understands that the rule of law is key to unlocking opportunity. By ensuring its citizens enjoy freedom and empowerment, Israel has built a thriving, prosperous, and robust society. And while these freedoms present real challenges to our security, Israel is secure in the knowledge that the long-term benefits far outweigh the short-term costs. A society cannot be truly free until its citizens have the right to challenge the status quo and openly speak their minds. This Council should do everything in its power to support the brave few who live and die by these ideas. Somewhere there's a soldier who knows he is outnumbered and outgunned, but stands tall at his post. Somewhere there's a police officer who refuses to take a bribe, even as he struggles to feed his family. Somewhere there's a peaceful protester raising her voice against oppression, knowing the consequences will be grave. These men and women are willing to risk their lives because they believe that every person deserves freedom and dignity. They're role models for us all. Let us be inspired by their courage. Let us be driven by their strength, and let us strive to be worthy guardians of their ideals. Thank you very much, Madam President.
I thank the representative of Israel for his statement. I now